Facts and features tell, stories sell. Why am I playing my singing bowl? Because I just learned how to use it. I got this singing bowl, this great singing bowl from my daughter, and I always had it sitting on this stand. And listen, when it's on the stand, it doesn't play. And it was in a video of another community one day, and she said, it's really easy, but you can't have it on the ground or on a stand. You have to be holding it so the vibration goes through you, which is what we want in the first place, to give us some more peace of mind, and so you can actually use it. And then you have to use a little more pressure than I was using. I was thinking I was doing it too hard. So that's my little story and lesson for today. Features and facts tell, stories sell. I could try to sell you that particular singing bowl or any singing bowl or anything. This cup, my cup of coffee. Lots of people say, sell me this pen. Guess what? I don't want to sell you a pen. I don't want to sell you anything. I want to tell you stories about experiences that I or people that I work with have had and how you may or may not be able to relate to them in order to apply something similar to your business and to your life. Why? Because that's how our brains work. Human beings, our minds, our brains, our thoughts retell and think in stories. They think in pictures, but then those pictures all elicit a certain emotional response or tell a story in our mind. People will repeat stories. One of the most powerful things about it is word of mouth and repeating of a story. If someone has a great experience with you or someone in your organization or with your products and services, guess what? They're going to tell people. They're going to tell a lot of other people. And that may very well lead to more people doing business with you. So we tell stories for all sorts of reasons, mostly so people can relate to us and to our business, and especially when it comes to our businesses and our brands. A lot of times we're telling people all the things and all the wonderful things about how we do a certain thing, which they don't care one bit about, by the way. I know, ego crushing, but absolutely true. People only care about what it does for them, what's in it for them. And if you share case studies, stories, your experiences, your personal experiences are probably one of the most powerful things you can share because you share them passionately. You had the experience, you know how it made you feel, and you can convey that to other people in your communication. It's all about communication this month, right? And if we want to grow and build and scale our business, we want to do the things, pull the little levers that give us the best results that we can possibly achieve. So let's talk about this a little bit more today. Human beings think in stories. Stories have been proven hands down to influence and impact action than any other thing in people's lives. Let's just think about the most famous book in the world and how many billions of people has that book caused to take action or move. Now, it can go either way, right? We know that it can go, our actions can be good or our actions can be evil. That's always up to us as an individual to choose. But that book is, of course, the Bible or the Quran. I'm sure both have had a huge influence on the people that believe in whatever it is you choose to believe. So think of something today that has caused you to take action. Why'd you start your business? Why do you even have a business? Why are you even in business? That is your origin story. And that is one of the most powerful tools you have in your toolbox to impact other people and bring them into your business as customers or as vendors or as strategic partners or as whatever it is you're looking for to do with or from them. When a story has the ability to impact others is when they can relate to it. There's only three parts to a story. A character. Doesn't have to be it can be an attractive character, but it can be a negatively attractive character or a positively attractive character. I found that some of my most powerful stories or experiences that I've shared have involved something really, really bad or somebody really, really evil that has impacted me. Do I like sharing those stories? No, because I don't want to relive that or think about it very much. But on the rare occasion that I do share them, I find that they're the most powerful because people can relate to that. Especially now, so much is coming to light in our world, and if you're anything like me, you've had this sense of foreboding for decades because things just didn't feel right. And that sense of foreboding is because they weren't right. There's been a whole lot of evil undercurrent or underbelly going on in the world. And we weren't crazy to think that there was something off, because it absolutely was. I'm not going to even talk about that. That's a rabbit hole I choose not to participate in. So what are we going to do today? I challenge you to think of 3 stories that you're going to share from now on. Your origin story, which is the story of how you started your business, why you started your business, and then maybe 1 or 2 of the challenges that you've had to overcome, the process that you used to overcome those, and then the results of that, the transformation that you personally had. We're going through transformations all the time. We just don't recognize or acknowledge them in ourselves. I'm transforming right now in that I'm moving from all kinds of different piece together things in my online and offline businesses to using AI. I know I'm going to an AI summit this weekend, and I'm like, I don't know, but I need to figure it out because it is right up my alley in terms of efficiency and effectiveness. I would say half of what I talk about on a daily basis is how can we make this automated, efficient and effective so it gets the results we want, and then how can we automate it and take some of the resources that have been required to figure it out in the first place away from that and redirect them to something more powerful. AI is an incredibly powerful tool to do that. So I need to know how to guide people through that, right? It's in its infancy, but it's just going to grow and explode and expand. So we all need to just say, it's like the internet. If I remember the early days of the internet when it first came out, it was for nerdy engineers and scientists like me. And so I remember early on, but the first time I got access to the internet, I was on it all night long. I had to go to work. I had 2 little kids at home, and I had to go to work the next morning and work a 12-hour day. But I was so excited about it and the possibilities of it. I couldn't sleep anyway, so I might as well be on exploring. And from then on, it was pretty dormant for about 20 years in me. It wasn't until 2017 that I came online and started to actually do something in the online world, in the online space. So your origin story, that was part of mine. Secondly, your solution or process. We all have a way of doing things. Example from me, during the pandemic, I had a process for dealing with challenges or something new or out of the ordinary or problems or obstacles that I used. It was not called the SOAP framework, but during the pandemic, I was like, all right, I need to do something to get up and go and keep moving during this crazy time of life when we're all pretty much locked in our homes or locked in our yards and waving at the neighbors from the window. And I needed a process. I needed to identify the process that I was using to keep moving forward and taking action. And it ended up being a 4-part process that I call now the SOAP framework, and I have since 2020. And I have learned I share it with everybody that will listen, because it's been so powerful and impactful for me. Got me through the pandemic by myself for the better part of 2 years, etc. And so I love to create frameworks like that, and I love to share them with other people. So that's just an example of one, and the impact it's had on tens of thousands of people's lives. Tens of thousands of people have used it to solve problems, to achieve goals, to get what they want in life. And I've used it to keep me going for the last, how many years is that? 6 years, 5 years, 6 years. And then the results and the transformation that you got. So I kind of did a little story there. I am personally committing to myself today that I'm going to practice using the 3-part framework to tell stories in a more intentional, smoother way. Because I share a lot of stories. I bet I babble on about something every single video I make every day. And we're almost at 10,000 videos that I've made in the last few years, at least since I came online. So that's a lot of babbling. Now, what if I had early on discovered, oh, it's this simple 3-step process, or it's this simple 3-part thing, which you might start seeing that in my YouTube videos going forward. But it's just me getting used to a new way of sharing, right? A more effective way of sharing. And how on earth did I make 9,000 videos and not improve that process? And it has improved, don't get me wrong. It just has a long way to go. All right, what are we going to do today? We're going to share in the comments below one story, 2 to 3 minutes. I would say if you haven't done your origin story, make it your origin story. You want to be able to take your origin story and squish it down into an elevator pitch. I'm not a big elevator pitch gal, but if you're out and you're networking and you meet people and they ask you, well, what do you do for a living? You want to have that in the form of a story. Character, who were you before? What problem or challenge were you facing? How did you overcome that problem or challenge? What process did you use? And then what was your transformation? Where are you today? That's it. Any questions about this? If you want to practice this, let's set up some time and we'll do some group practicing. We'll just partner up with somebody and we'll actually practice saying our story. That's how important storytelling and story selling is. All right. If I can help you, ask. I was having an amazing day, and I'll, of course, see you tomorrow.